a few items of business, and then we'll start the show in this many minutes, 5 minutes. Until then, you get to enjoy the countdown timer and some music. See you in a short while. I got to turn that countdown off, and also I have to unmute my microphone. I can see that it's working. Hey, everybody. Well, what's going on today, Friday, April the 9th? And we have some exciting things happening in the world of video and post-production. We're going to be giving away 4 or 5, I'm not sure which, passes to future media conferences. World Conference Pass. I think it's like $4.99. Each pass is $4.99. It's 5 days of all kinds of interesting stuff. The one that a lot of us are going to be interested in is happening on Tuesday, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So, if you have any comments, go ahead and post them. Here's the bird feeder. I know you've all been waiting for that. It looks kind of empty today. It's kind of like an overcast day out here on the East Coast outside of Baltimore. Carroll County to be exact. I don't see any activity there. There we go. There's one. Looks like a starling. Oh, took off. There you go. Here's another one. Starlings have found the bird feeder. So they like to stop by and munch on the suet. One thing we found out is when you get good quality suet, you get good quality birds. That's one thing we found out. Here's the desktop, Stream Deck, XL. It's a lot of buttons. You can use this thing for Final Cut Pro and use it for regular Mac things as well. This is my controller for the outdoor camera, the bird feeder camera. I just zoom in and zoom back out again, just like that. That's a Mevo start. Of course, this is my drink. It's a bottle cap, doesn't belong there. And it's also something else doesn't belong there. And this, of course, is my Apollo Twin X. Everybody that watches the stream knows that. We're going to be giving away, like I said, some passes to the post-production world. Let me pull that up right here. Post-production world. Let me see. What are we going to show first? So post-production, let me pull this up. Let me pull so people know what we're talking about. Webinar, that's that. Where are my notes? Disappeared off the face of the earth. Of course they did. Let me pull them up here. So there's some other exciting things happening besides there we are. Besides just the post-production world event, which I'm going to pull up here on the calendar here directly. Training Zoom here. Isn't that funny? I didn't capture that. I didn't capture that link. I'll have to do that right now. Post-production world online, April, because I want to go over that for sure. Let me pull this up. FMC. Here we go. Try this again. Oh, I know what I did. Let me see. So they were very gracious enough to give us Let me see if this comes up properly. Here we go. So this is this. Interesting. Let me pull that up. I'll get it here in a minute. Here we go. We are going to go here. Copy, paste. Here we go. Web page. Here we go. And I'm going to turn these blank guests off. If you want to be a guest today, let me know and I'll see if I can pull you on here. Camlink 4K, that's there. If you want to be a guest on the show, we'll see if we can get you on. But you got to have a good microphone, headphones, camera, lighting, and all that stuff. It's not what I wanted to do. Let's try this again. Web page. Let me see here. Web page. And I want to go there. There we go. So Post-Production World Online Future Media Concepts 5-day event starts tomorrow, Saturday, as you can see, April the 10th through the 14th. April the 13th is the Final Cut Pro event, right? Yes, it is. It's with Final Cut Pro Talk all day Tuesday. Pull that down. There we go. Michael Rappaport says, hello from New Jersey. Good vibes, hello. Hi from Norway. Friday night is fab on the web. Absolutely. So here we are, web page. Here's back to our web page. I'm going to close this window. What is that pop up? Pop that up. So let's see what's going on this event. There's a lot of stuff going on. Fingers crossed, I'm going to win one pass today. So one of the things I'm going to ask everybody is don't ask to win a pass if you're not going to go to the event. In other words, if you're just interested in Final Cut Pro stuff, you don't need a pass because the Final Cut Pro stuff is free. So if you're interested in some of the other things that are going on, the Adobe stuff, then you can win a pass. So I'm going to give a pass to, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I'll take a screenshot. Got a screenshot. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Sorry. You'll have to contact me offline and I will send you the information on how to get your pass. Torgrim says, will you be reporting from the conference? I will not be reporting from the conference. The conference is online, so it's not an actual location. Post-Production World Online is the world's leading conference for production and post-production professionals, content creators, designers, TV, film, video editors, etc., etc. One of the things that I want to say right off the bat is how much I appreciate Future Media Conferences for doing this. They do this every year. Right now is the time that normally this would be NAB. Yes, he says the Final Cut Pro Pass is free from what he read on Twitter. That's correct. And that is actually right here. Let's see if this comes up. So this is the Final Cut Pro Pass. Online, here's the Apple track. They call it the Apple track, Final Cut Pro /Apple. And let's see if we can. Let's see if we can. Where is that? All right, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this and paste it over here. Let's see if I can get this to come up properly. Background. But it's got to reduce it. Let's do that. Add a blue background. Let's do this. No, that's the color of the text. I don't want the text. I want the text to be white. Background color. I want the background to be blue. There. This is the actual web address. Now, I don't really expect you to copy that down, but I can send it to you if you want it. This is for the webinar for the Final Cut Pro webinar registration on Tuesday. Let's see here. I'm going to boost this text up a little bit. So here's what we have going on Tuesday. Since most of you are probably interested in Final Cut Pro, this is what we're going to talk about first. So we have a beginner's guide to Final Cut Pro with Mr. Steve Martin, my friend Steve Martin. Then we have calling all video pros using iPhones in production with Nick Haraz, the making of Q Into the Storm with Steve Moyer, Felipe Baez. I think they're doing a workflow. 2 to 250 iPhone 12 HDR workflows with Bill Davis. Nomadic Power Couple Q&A with Elsa and Baron, hosted by Jeff Greenberg. Let me get my mouse over there. 4 to 5 Final Cut Pro for Avid and Premiere users. We have been talking a lot about Avid the last couple episodes of Final Cut Pro Radio, both live and on the radio show itself. Everybody wants a pass. Yes, please. Everybody wants one. Put link in description. I'm not sure how to do that on this. I can put it in so it shows up there, but it's not live. So I'm not sure that's going to work. Right? That doesn't work. Let me pull it up there, copy. I'll put it back up. Oh, yeah, you know what? I did put it up here. Did I? Yeah, there we go. Free Final Cut Pro track on Tuesday. There's the actual link. I know it's not clickable. It's just a graphic that I put up there, but that's the link. You can do a screen grab, copy and paste that. You can also just contact me directly and I will send you the link. I don't know how to do it live. Let me see. Let me try to put it in the YouTube comments. Let me see if it'll work there since I'm the owner. Let me try that. Yes. Okay. It will work there. I just put it in YouTube. There's the link. Now, I think in YouTube, is it clickable? Yes, it is. If you go to the YouTube channel, you can actually click on that link, and it is clickable, and that'll take you to the registration for the Final Cut Pro event on Tuesday. I presume most people are interested in the Final Cut Pro event, right? That's what I'm going to presume. But we're going to go over some of the other schedule for the people that are interested in other things about the conference. So here we are, post-production world. Let's see what we got here. They have an app, of course. So the cost is $4.99 for the standard pass. Includes access to all live sessions recordings. Click here for more registration options. There are some discounts available. We have one for Final Cut Pro Radio. We'll put that right here. Actually, we're going to, let me see. We're going to turn this one off. Turn this one on. I don't know why this is doing this, but we'll find out. White text. And we'll do this. And we'll turn the background on. There we go. So let's add this. You can get 50% off coupon code FCP Radio. No, that's not right. FCP Radio 50. Add a 0. There we go. There you go. 50% off coupon code FCP Radio 50. So if you don't win a free pass today, we got more passes to give away. We've given away one already. If you have more passes to give away, but if you don't get a free pass, you can get 50% off the entire package. So instead of being $500, it's $250 if you want to go all 5 days. The Final Cut Pro track is free, but let's see what else is going on. Now I'm going to find the actual program. Here we go. Let's see. Program. Here we go. So this is the program, Eastern Daylight Time. One of the things that I'm glad about, Future Media Concepts is in New York, so I don't have to translate the time like I normally do, right? Normally I got to translate it to the West Coast, or I got to translate it to England, the UK, Greenwich Mean Time, or some other place that has time different than the East Coast, but Future Media Concepts in New York, so it's exactly the same time. So here's what we got. I'm going to pull this down to here. There we go. A primer on 360 virtual reality. Getting started with Adobe After Effects, Corporate Video Essentials, Introduction to Color Grading and DaVinci Resolve. Now that's something that I should spend some time with that, but I haven't recently, but I should spend some time with that. How to make a video app in the new Oculus App Lab. Best use case for 360 video. Getting started with Adobe Photoshop. Efficient, effective webinars and live streams. Now that's interesting. Speaking of 360 video, how many of you are doing 360 video on a regular basis? Not as a one-off when the family comes over for Thanksgiving, but if you use it on a regular basis, make a comment in the comments. I'm curious because I've never even tried it once. Man Cave says YouTube worked nicely. There we go. Works. Got it. Thanks. That's for the link for the Final Cut Pro track. Now, this is normally NAB time. This is normally when Future Media Concepts works with NAB. In the past, 2017 and 2018, Future Media Concepts, FCP Works, did a session with the Final Cut Pro team at NAB where they introduced using a new version of Final Cut Pro. And they haven't done it for a couple of years. Well, last year, obviously, NAB didn't even happen because of the COVID situation. Anthony says he never even attempted 360 video. I haven't either. I haven't bought a camera. It's nothing that I'm really that interested in trying. I've got plenty of other things to try before I do that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, a good use case for it. I'm sure some people are really good at it. I haven't watched any 360 videos. I'm not going to buy those goofy goggles. If you have to use those, I'm not buying those, and I'm not going to be wearing those. At least not. I'm not planning on it. Maybe for a demo or something. But I'm just curious who uses 360 video at this point. We got some more passes to give away. Checking on the backyard. Final Cut Pro Radio HQ. There's a bluebird. You can see the blue in its wings. We get bluebirds all winter long. It's not winter here right now. It's actually, I'll give you a picture of the full backyard. This is the full backyard. There's another bluebird came back. Bluebird and golden finch, I think. There you go. Yeah, we get bluebirds all summer long here. Final Cut Pro TV Live headquarters. Final Cut Pro Radio is also broadcast from here. All right, let's go back to the conference, and we'll give away another pass. We've given away one already. Let's see what else is going on. Secrets of VR 180, 8K magic, 8K. Who's shooting in 8K? I'm not shooting in 8K. I'm shooting in 4K. VR case studies, lesson learned from real-world projects. Getting started with Adobe Premiere Pro. Getting started with Apple Final Cut Pro. There's another, that's interesting. There's another Final Cut Pro event happening there. Getting started with Final Cut Pro. Now, Steve Martin's doing one on Tuesday. So this is kind of what they did at NAB. This is what they would normally do at NAB. This year it's online. NAB is happening in October, the second week of October. We'll have more news about that going forward. If it indeed happens in person, I will probably go. We'll have to see. I'm not in any hurry to schedule. I did check the motels yesterday, prices and stuff. They're fine. They're the ones I'm staying at about $100 and some a night. But the Las Vegas Monorail is closed right now. The Las Vegas Monorail is actually closed. I was surprised that it's closed. I mean, there's people there gambling, isn't there? And the monorail is closed? That seems kind of strange at this point. I understand at the beginning of the virus situation, but at this point, I went on there just to look at the prices for a week past, and it's closed. It says to be opened in the future, but never even tried 360. Don't think you will. It's the same with me. I have a camera trying to get into real estate photography. My friend bought a few 360 cameras after NAB 2019, but never did anything with them. There you go. I haven't even bought a camera because I wasn't that interested in it. For the most part, I'm interested in pretty much straight up video. I don't even do that much photography. A little bit. I do have my iPhone, of course, and my iPhone 12 Pro Max, and I do anamorphic video and some video photography with that camera, which is fantastic. I have the Moment lenses for that. Bummer, I'll be in Branson in October. This is the second week of October, I think it's scheduled. At this point, it's scheduled live. They put out a press conference that said 70% of the people that attended last year are planning on going this year. Listen, I've talked to a lot of friends. They just want to get out. They just want to get out of the house and go to a convention again where you can actually meet people and talk to them. It's been a long time, right? For me, it would have been the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit in 2019. They didn't have one last year. They had the online event. So 2019. So at that point, it'll be 2 years because NAB was canceled. NAB 2019, the Creative Summit 2019. Keynote, a conversation with Michelle Tesoro, editor of the Queen's Gambit. There you go. There's a lot of stuff going on this event. This is not, obviously, the majority of it is not Final Cut Pro related. It's Premiere and some other general workflow. There's 2D and 3D title design, choosing the right equipment for remote productions. This is, of course, always important. What to do, what you do and don't need on your demo reel to get hired. So there's an interesting session that'll be good for everybody, whether you're on Premiere, whether you're Final Cut, whether you're on Avid. Work smarter, not harder. 10 technique setup switches for editors in DaVinci Resolve. I am editing in DaVinci Resolve as well as Final Cut these days. Get the most from Blackmagic Pocket Camera. Now, I have not bought a camera. I'm waiting on it to see what the GH6 happens. If that ever happens, I'm waiting on that one. I'm not interested. If I bought a camera right now, I would probably get the Sony a7S III. And then my second choice would be the Blackmagic 6K Pro, the one that has the articulating screen. I'm not buying one without an articulating screen. That's why I never bought one in the past. So let's see. Let's get back here. Expanding role. Let me get this panel. The expanding role from editor to post-production professionals, a panel led by my friend Scott Simmons with the other panelists involved there. A lot of good stuff. This is like NAB Online. I mean, this is what Future Media Concepts has done over the years, same kind of thing. Maximizing collaborative workflows in post-production, practical project management for creative professionals. I'm not going to read every one. You guys can read them. I'm just Sunday after hours party. That'll be interesting to attend. Monday coffee. What's new in After Effects? Setting up a home streaming studio. Who doesn't have a home streaming studio these days? Anybody? I've been streaming I looked at the first one that I did on Facebook, one of the first ones, because it came up in, notification that you did this a couple years ago. And it came up and I was looking at it and said, well, that's interesting. I did things a little differently in those days than I do now. I didn't have Ecamm Live for one thing, so. Let's see what we have. Nothing going on in the backyard. Right over there in front of that red shed is where we're going to have our garden for the year. We grow vegetables. My girlfriend does. She has her own channel on YouTube, Jane's Garden World. She talks all about what she's doing. She's already got tomatoes started, and we'll be talking about that as we go. And on her Facebook page, just search for Jane's Garden World, and you can find that. So, bummer. I'll be in Branson in October. Got the Sony FX6. Love it so far. So I like the Sony A7S III. That's the one that I'd get strictly because of the low light capability of that thing. Is a monster with low light. I don't know if it overheats and stuff. I don't know how that's working out. But if I got a camera today, that's what I'd be getting. I'm not going to be getting a camera anytime soon. I'm not planning on it. But if I did, that's the one I'd get. And then the Blackmagic 6K Pro would be the second one that I'd get at this point. At this point, I'm not in the market for a camera. I'm waiting for the GH6 to see what Panasonic does, because got a GH4, I got a GH5. I love both of those cameras. They're both fantastic cameras. Each one has lasted 3 years, something like that. Can I access the free Final Cut Pro event after the 13th if I miss the time for some reason? That is a good question. Let me think for a second. I'm going to say yes, but I'm not positive. I'm going to say yes because these are sessions. This is not the Final Cut Pro team. So I'm going to presume that you indeed will be able to access the free Final Cut Pro one, which is here. This is the actual URL. I've posted it on YouTube. If you're familiar with the YouTube stream, the link is on there. This is the free file. I'm just going to say, well, you know what? I don't know. This is a Zoom one. This is one of those live ones. I don't know for a fact if you can or not. So this is not the Final Cut Pro team. That's one thing I want to make clear. That's not They're not doing anything this time. This is trainers. This is Steve Martin and other people doing Final Cut Pro stuff. There won't be, in other words, there won't be any announcements coming out of that. All right, so Gals in Gear panel. Mastering the Career Pivot, a panel led by Amy DeLuise. And there's the panelist. So here's interesting. Speed editing with Adobe Premiere Pro. So speed editing, of course, Resolve has the speed editor, which I'm still waiting on. Not Blackmagic, B&H. I'm still waiting on my speed editor and my studio license for Resolve, which I ordered it before Christmas. So there's got January, February, March, April. It's going on 4 months and I still don't have the thing. It's still on back order for me. So COVID compliance for small businesses, audio essentials, always pay attention to your audio. Very important, please pay attention to your audio. By the way, I'm going to copy this and post this down there. Do this. Do this. Background. There we go. This is the actual. Let me turn off that one. This is the actual place you can see the spring program. Let me paste that over there in YouTube. The YouTubers can see it as you're waiting. There it is. So that's where you can actually go over and find, look at that. We're watching ourselves online. Go back to the program. So this is another thing that's going on. Here is what my screen looks like. Oh, I forgot. I got to click back on this app. Here's my screen. This is what I'm monitoring as we're live. I have a preview monitor, a program monitor, and I have, let me pull that back up. So I have a preview monitor. This is the preview monitor here. Let me see if I can point the right direction. I can't. That over there is the program monitor. This one here is preview. That one there is program. Down there is a live web browser. Right below me, this is my overlays and my scenes, different scenes that I set up. There is my audio level. You can see my audio level bouncing around. It's coming from a Scarlett 24i 2i4 USB, but I'm actually using a Apollo Twin X. Over here are the comments as they come in, and I add them to the scene. So, for example, if I want to add a comment, I click on it here, add to broadcast, and it comes zipping on the broadcast. Anybody wants to jump on, just let me know and I'll send you a link. I guess I could make it public and just whoever comes on, but we'll see. Let's go back here. I'm going to take that off of live demo. Building online communities, documentary editing strategies. Let me see if there's anything else with. There's my friend Gary Adcock, Understanding New Reality of Virtual Production, MR and XR Production. What is XR Production? XR. I'm not even sure what that is. Gary, chime in there. Chime in there. And then Monday After Hours Party, of course. That is, those after hour parties actually work pretty well. I didn't know if they were going to work that well with the Zoom meetings and stuff. I did them for, what was it recently? I think we have a friend back there. Little yellow bird. You can see him at the bottom of the bird feeder on the other side. I'm not even sure what XR is. But it's anyway, they're having it. And of course, Monday night after hours party, everybody joins up there. Create YouTube videos that connect. Well, that's the secret, isn't it? Valentina V. Lots of stuff. Day 3. Here we go. So, Eastern Daylight Time. There's the Apple track. This is what a lot of the audience is going to be working on. So let's give away another free pass for this. Somebody, I'm just basing it on comments. Just put a clever little comment in there if I see it all. If it makes me laugh, perhaps. So the beginners, the full pass is $4.99. You can get half off with this. Half off is 50% off coupon, FCP Radio 50. And here is the training for the Final Cut Pro training on Tuesday. That's happening on Tuesday. Once again, the Final Cut Pro team is not presenting at this. Okay. In that case, I should directly ask Steve Moyer on Twitter about that, I think. We follow each other. So what was the question? Oh, yes. I think you have to ask Future Media Concepts. I don't know. It may be available. They may put it up. I don't know if it's going to be immediately available. I would think that they would, since they're doing it for free. So Michael Rappaport. Hi to the birdies. Michelle, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Michelle Rappaport. I read that wrong. Michelle Rappaport. Hi to the birdies. Michelle, you have won a free pass to Future Media Concepts Post-Production World. Do you get a lot of squirrels? They try. They try. They certainly do try. All righty, let's go back to the web page. I've got some other things to talk about too. Well, let's do this one real quick. Michelle says, yay. Oh, this mouse drives me nuts. It constantly disconnects. I have to pull my trackpad in place. I don't know why it does, but it constantly disconnects for me. Batteries are fine. Thank you very much. Contact me after the show and I'll give you the information. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Yes, absolutely. Let's take a little break from the conference. I got some other things to discuss. Let's go up to, first off, let's go to here. That's what we already did. But here, my mouse isn't working. Now I've got to take this. I have my trackpad as my friend Chris Hawking came out with the new version of Command Post. This is a very, very cool icon that somebody for him developed. What's the person's name? Give him credit. If you don't know what Command Post is, new icon by Matthew Skiles, it looks like. Command Post 1.2.0. I really like that graphic. It's really, really nice. So, by the way, just in case everybody is working with Premiere when they're doing this conference, well, I'm not going to put that up because that's, well, this is just a joke for the people who use Premiere, little joke. Apple Tech Note, working with Premiere. If you're forced to work with Premiere, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds before editing with Final Cut Pro. If Premiere crashes, wait for a minimum of 24 hours and then report this abuse to HR. It's just a joke. Only joking, of course. Let's go back to our web page here. I keep grabbing my mouse, and that's not working. LUTs. Who's using LUTs in their workflow? I guess if you're using shooting in RAW or whatever, you will be. I can even use a LUT with this Ecamm Live if I wanted to. You can with the Pro version. So over here is the Apple track. Over here is the Apple track. Apple track. You can watch that. We've already talked about that. LUTs color and intuitive color corrections. I haven't used LUTs. I don't shoot RAW yet. I have it on my GH5, but I haven't shot it. Invisible effects, fix it in post. Yeah, I'm tired of hearing that for sure. Tabletop photography, capturing effective product shots, all these nice networking lounge. How to edit and optimize your video for YouTube and Facebook. So one of the new features of the latest version of Final Cut Pro is, hey, they took away the ability to upload directly to YouTube and Facebook. Now, that's not Apple's fault. That's because YouTube and Facebook keep changing how you connect and how you can connect to them. So the APIs or whatever the heck they are. So Apple can't keep putting updates up for Final Cut Pro. So they just said, nah, you got to upload the video yourself. Well, here's the file. Go ahead and upload it. Speaking of that, let's do this one real quick. What is this? Oh, this is interesting. This is an ad timeline.
I want to say is what we had. And so we just, we made sure that, whatever effects and we had.
So this is the Avid timeline for, what was it for? Let me see. Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is the timeline. They go through the timeline on the Justice League. Now, obviously, the Justice League is a very complex project. It looks complex. This reminds me of the days of Final Cut Pro 7, I think, somewhat. When I used to get involved with bigger projects, I go through all the different things. This is an Avid. I found this interesting. We've been discussing Avid recently on Final Cut Pro. This was very, very interesting. But this thing, see now if you did this in Final Cut Pro 10, you can clean a lot of that stuff up. You can collapse things and put it in lanes and stuff, so it would look a lot less messy than that. I understand it's complex. I'm not debating that. Absolutely. The other thing I want to bring up here while we're here is our friends over there at Ripple Training. There's Steve Martin. Look at this cool plugin he's got. This lets you preview blend modes.
From this pop-up, you can choose to blend the clip with itself, or you can blend the clip with a drop zone. We'll get to the drop zone.
So I think you just put this over top of the timeline, and then you can preview all your clips. This is very cool, and it's a free plugin over there at Ripple Training for everybody who's, rippletraining.com. Very cool. We like that. Spencer Lewis says hello from Philly. Looks like a pain in the bud. I think you mean butt. Adobe recently asked on Twitter what we can improve in Premiere for customers. I replied, stop beta testing under the name of public release. They never replied. Now, I have to say this, that Adobe is much more active promoting Premiere than Final Cut Pro, than Apple is promoting Final Cut Pro. So we'll see how that's going forward. I am going to grab a drink right here. Let me see, straighten out my keyboard so it looks straight to you. It's actually crooked on my desk, but it looks straight to you when I do that. This is my trusty old Apollo Twin X. I'm going to mute myself so you can't hear me drinking. And Stream Deck XL. This is my controller for my outdoor camera. Of course. Okay, we have a couple more passes to give away. So we'll see how that goes. If I don't give them away today, I have to give them away today because it starts tomorrow. I'm off mute here. Let's go back to the website just to go over real quick. Listen, Future Media Concepts is fantastic. They do so much for the creative community. They're the biggest by far for the creative community. Post-production, production. Here's the panel, Reboot Your Creative Engine. Panel led by Frederick Von Johnson. And there's a wrap-up party, post-conference Wednesday. More After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro exam prep class, part 1. That's interesting. And there's the DaVinci Resolve certification exam prep class, part 1 for Resolve. That's very interesting. Oh, they have all kinds of certifications. That's interesting. I actually got my Final Cut Pro certification from one of these back in Washington years ago. All right, we got a couple more to give away. So how are we going to give them away? $500, $499 is what they cost. Let me see if I have anything here. That's that. By the way, you can always go to FCP TV Live, fcptv.live. We're going to be on there live right now. Let me just make sure the volume's turned down. So this is fcptv.live. I always put the video up there if you forget where it is someplace else. And of course, we have Final Cut Pro Radio. The latest episode is with the last 3 episodes have been very interesting. Episode 114 with John Matthews. I think he's going to be on the next one as well. Turn this off. And Final Cut Pro Radio 112 and 113, Workflow and Best Practices with Alex Snelling, part 1 and part 2, and then Final Cut Pro, the BBC, and Avid with John Matthews. John knows Avid very well, and he likes Final Cut Pro. He says he wants to get a divorce from Avid, even though he knows it really well. Bruce Babcock Jr. says, give them away to people whose name starts with a B. That sounds like a reasonable thing, Bruce. You've got yourself a copy, a free pass to Post-Production World. Contact me after the show, and I'll make arrangements for you to get that free pass. See, that was very easy. We're not going to be on here too much longer. By the way, always stay tuned if you want to follow these. Let me see where social media. What do I have up there? Here we go. So this is the place to go. This is the place to go to follow. This is the best place. YouTube.com/Richard Taylor TV. Subscribe over there. You can be notified whenever I go live. I've got another show coming up next week. Very special show. And more shows planned, of course, in the future. Absolutely. Make sure whoever wins that you want the full pass, not just the Final Cut Pro track. And the other thing is, if you've already won recently something on the show, don't, let somebody else win. I haven't really kept track. Christopher says, cheers. Christopher and I are friends on Facebook. Now, my Facebook page, let me just put this up there, facebook.com/Richard Taylor TV. I do not accept friends from people that I don't know. My Facebook page is not a Final Cut Pro page. YouTube is a lot, but the Facebook page is not. My Facebook page is mostly for friends, local stuff. I have a few Final Cut Pro friends on there, but it's not really, I like keeping it peaceful. I don't get involved with a bunch of nonsense. Facebook can be a real quagmire if you get involved with stuff. I just don't want that on my page. I like arts and I like animal rescue stuff, a little bit of Final Cut Pro stuff. I have to broadcast this from my Facebook page because of the way Facebook works, but it's not really a Final Cut Pro page. So if I know you, you can make a friend request, but if I don't know you, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to your page. And for example, I'll give you a perfect example. If I go to your page and you have a bunch of political stuff on there, we're not going to be friends. I'm not interested. I don't want to see that stuff popping up in my timeline. Politics are not something I want to discuss on Facebook. So that's, for example, if you have negativity on your page, not interested. I'm interested in arts. I'm interested in animal rescue, a little bit of Final Cut Pro, video production and stuff. That's fine. But I keep my friends on Facebook limited for that reasons. Hi there. I'm eager to learn more about Final Cut Pro 10. Fingers crossed for an Apple TV, Apple EV. Torgrim, I'm not sure what you mean there. Christopher says, opt me out for that reason. He won't get a pass because he's won something recently. Oh, here we go. Fingers crossed for an Apple event in the near future. This is my prediction that I've been talking about for months. WWDC and Final Cut Pro's 10th birthday are both happening in June. So I think we're going to see Final Cut Pro 10.6 at that point. And I think it's going to be a major, major update. It's not going to be, let's throw some nuts and bolts on top of features we already have. It's going to be I think they've been reworking Final Cut Pro. I don't mean just for the M1. That's not what I'm talking about, because the majority of Final Cut Pro users are editing on Intel and will be for a long time. So not there. He says, agreed. Bruce Babcock Jr. My Twitter is now a politics-free zone. Mine is too. I don't put up with that. I'm just not interested in politics. Become much more enjoyable. Absolutely. People complain about Twitter and complain about Facebook. I understand that. Control it. You put yourself in charge. If I have a friend and they're posting a bunch of political stuff, I unfriend them. They can do their own thing on their page. I don't want to see it popping up in my timeline. That's one of the worst things. People can argue all they want. They can argue. Listen, when Final Cut Pro 10 came out, 10.0 came out, people argued. I really can't be bothered. You don't change anybody's mind, first off. Everybody comes in with their own preformed notion of things, their own ideas, their own opinions. They don't change those. They do not change those, no matter what it is. If you're an average person, you don't change to Final Cut Pro. It just doesn't happen. I hope your words come true. Harwinder, listen, they're doing something, okay? The Final Cut Pro development has crawled to a halt over the last couple years. They've done very little as far as adding new features. Yes, I understand they had to work for the M1 chip. I don't care about that at this point. Most people are on Intel. What does working on the M1 chip have to do with the editors that are editing on Intel? Huh? Doesn't do anything for them. We need some new features in Final Cut. It's got a lot of features that we've been asking for years, nuts and bolts kind of features. Christopher says, I've been using 3D oblique angle scanning for 3D modeling as I believe it would be more valuable when perceived in Apple Final Cut Pro. Apple Stereoscopic 8K, yes. Scanning with DJI drones using Mavic 2 MacBook Pro. I have a Typhoon H hexacopter, 6 blades that I've been using, shoots in 4K. Have some rumors here in Sweden regarding Final Cut Pro X be a subscription like Adobe stuff. Heard anything about this direction? By the way, no politics on my page. There you go. You guys are exactly what I want. Those are kind of friends. Look, if you friend me, say no politics. I do check your page. I just not interested in that. So here's the thing about the subscription. That was based on 2 words. That was based on 2 words. Apple recently changed the trademark for Final Cut Pro. In the change, they put the word software rental. That's what everything is basing on, a subscription to Final Cut Pro. Do you really need a subscription if it only costs $299? Does that make sense to anyone? That who would subscribe to Final Cut Pro if you can buy it for $299? That's what Adobe cost in a year, right? It doesn't make sense. Now, could they? I think they did that to future-proof Final Cut Pro. Maybe if you want to try it out before you spend $200, $300, that's ridiculous. Any professional that can't afford $299 for an app that doesn't make any sense. That's nothing. Even a college student, you can use it for 90 days, right? You can buy it for rent it for 90 days or trial version for Motion and Final Cut and Compressor. So Peter Koeman says, hi from the Netherlands. I had to unfriend so many people because of politics. Sad. So here's the thing. I enjoy unfriending people. I have no problem doing that. Click unfriend. It's not that they're not my friends. I have professional friends that are video professionals, that are Final Cut Pro professionals. That's where our friendship lies. It lies in Final Cut Pro. It lies in video production. That doesn't mean I want to hear you blather on about politics. Doesn't interest me. If you do that, if you're obsessed with politics, if you post negative things, if you have a lot of name calling, we're not going to be friends on Facebook. Simple as that. Enough of that. Did you know Mac OS can display USDZ out of the box, and Apple Glass will use this 3D format for VR, AR? I did not know that. I think subscription will be on sharing things, maybe be 1 terabyte iCloud drive for media sharing for Final Cut Pro for collaboration. It certainly could be an add-on thing for Final Cut, sharing in the cloud, storing projects in the cloud, a subscription, because right now I'm paying for iCloud every month. That's a subscription. I have Apple TV, but I'm probably not going to renew that. I think it expires in June. I got it because I got what did I buy? An iPad Air last year, and it came free for a year. They extended it. So that's a subscription from Apple. I don't have Apple Music. I don't listen to contemporary music that much. I don't like it for the most part. I listen to more classic rock things. Who knows? I don't think if they do have a subscription-based Final Cut Pro, unless they're going to add a lot of stuff to it, doesn't make sense. It's only $299. They will not take away our app for $299. People will still be grandfathered in if they do a subscription. They're not going to do a subscription only. I can't see it. It would be ridiculous for them to do that. Having an add-on subscription thing, that's fine. That's completely fine. Apple Glass will give us new destination for Final Cut Pro in motion. Okay, I have to go back and see who I gave this to. See who I gave the passes to. I think I have one more to give away, don't I? One or two more. Have I given, once again, if you've already won something, please tell me that so I don't give you a free version of this going forward. All right. So anything else going on in the world of Final Cut Pro? Yes, there are some things going on in the world of Final Cut Pro, absolutely. Going to take a little swig here. Pink grapefruit, 0 sugar, vitamins and antioxidants, flavored sparkling water. That's what I'm drinking. Low carb. Low carb. I've been on a low carb diet for a few years. It seems to work pretty well for me. New comments. Let's see what we got. Working on one trailer in Final Cut Pro, another trailer in Resolve. Still love Final Cut Pro, but Resolve is coming on strong. Here's the deal with me. I'm a perpetual Final Cut Pro optimist. I'm always waiting for the next version of Final Cut Pro, the next version of Final Cut Pro, the next version of Final Cut Pro to give us some of these features that we don't have right now, some of the basic nuts and bolts things that editors need. Listen, it took the Final Cut Pro team 5 years to get remove attributes. It took them over 9 years to give us audio crossfades. That's not a great track record for adding basic things. Remove attributes, audio crossfades, basic things that editors really need. But I just think the optimist in me, of course, this is what I'm talking about, the optimist in me, the Final Cut Pro optimist. I'm an optimist regardless, but the Final Cut Pro optimist in me thinks the reworking Final Cut Pro is going to be a major update. Very big update, from 10.0 to 10.1, that kind of an update. They're reworking it. They have to be. They haven't done that much for the last couple years, right? Do you think they have? I don't think so. Nobody's going to convince me that they have because I haven't seen it. But I'm saying 2021, we're going to see a major update. 10.6 is going to be a major update. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think they're going to stick to 10.5. Logic went from 10.5 to 10.6 in 6 months. Final Cut Pro hit 10.5 last October, November. So anytime now, 10.6 could be coming out. I'm just going to say WWDC / 10th anniversary of Final Cut Pro. That's what I'm seeing. I like the color corrector tools that exist in Final Cut Pro. They are nonsense tools. I'm not sure what that means. They are in Final Cut Pro, they are nonsense tools to do it quickly. Maybe you can clarify that. Coming from Premiere at work to Final Cut Pro, I was looking for the audio mixer, absolutely. When one has to work with 25 audio tracks, then one will get the value of trackless. Trackless works really, really well for video, but it's not really trackless, is it? It still has tracks. It's just you're not locked to the tracks. Everything's locked to the main storyline, connected. You can change the connection. Christopher says he meant no nonsense. That's better. That's better. So we have one more pass to give away. Major update will be called Final Cut Pro XI. I don't think so. I think we're going to be called Final Cut Pro 10.6. I don't think it's going to be 11. Got to run, Richard. Thanks for the show as always. Talk soon. Scramble the sea wolves. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Let's give away one more pass, and then I'm going to get off here. I've got other things to do. I had some good news today in my regular life. So here we go. Here's a countdown. Final Cut Pro 10.4 is 39 months old, but got a shot of adrenaline with 10.49. Countdown continues, waiting for a full feature update. 10.5 was not that, so the countdown is continuing. That's a good point. The X is dead. Yes, it's a Roman numeral. That's correct. I think that's dead. I don't think we're going to see it. They already dropped it from 10. They dropped it from Mac OS as well. The brand, that is. Final Cut Pro Final. There you go. So, one more pass to give away. Let me see. Yeah, 3 years. Well, it's been, it's over 3 years since 10.4 came out. 10.4.4 was a big update. 10.4.9 was a big update. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But 10.5, I don't care about the M1. You affected 0.05% of Final Cut Pro editors. So 10.5, no, that's not a big update. That's just a marketing update for the Apple Silicon chips. Most people are not going to be using Apple Silicon for years. I'm going to be buying one. So speaking of that, how many years do you go between Mac updates for work? I don't mean for your kids that's at home. Do you buy one every year? Do you go between 2 and 3 years? Do you go between 3 and 5 years between updates? I typically go 3 years. I got the 2019 Mac Pro that I'm broadcasting on right now, and it's a year and a half old. I'll probably keep this. I don't anticipate them making something as good as this ever again. So, update should be called FCP Final, new as we name our final render. Just kidding, of course. I might buy a new iMac every 5 years. There you go. I am going to be buying one of the M1X or M2 versions of the Apple Silicon when they have the 16-inch MacBook Pro. I'll stick with my 15-inch double graphics card for a while more. I spent a lot of money on a full-spec iMac, absolutely, especially if it's an iMac Pro. Michelle says 5 years. Pro. Where should we contact you for the pass? You can do it on Twitter, Richard Taylor TV, on YouTube, Richard Taylor TV, on Facebook. You can message me, Richard Taylor TV. All those, as a matter of fact, let me just put that up there. All those are places you can contact me. Now, I'll get the pass out to you today because they start tomorrow. So Facebook.com, Richard Taylor TV, message me there if you're not a friend. I'll look for messages. Or YouTube.com, Richard Taylor TV, contact me there. Michelle says there's a chip shortage right now. I heard that. But isn't Apple doing their own chips? They're making their own, right? That's the whole idea. They have a manufacturer making them. I mean, Apple doesn't actually manufacture them, but the design is. So something about Tim Cook, he books chip manufacturers years in advance. I think Apple will be fine. Torgrim says, I'm still on my MacBook Pro late 2013. I am so long for MacBook Pro M1. Me too, the 16-inch. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I can trade this one into Apple hassle-free. I have a 2019 15, and I'll just trade it in, get that without worried about selling it on eBay and all that. That's always a pain. Always worry about that. The new iMac Silicon computer will have a larger display resolution, so maybe. Christopher says, have a great day. Same to you. Same to you, absolutely. All righty, I think we're going to finish up here. Planning to go for an upcoming M1 Max, but I still keep my Intel Mac. True, but they still need basic components as well, diodes and electrolytic capacitors. But I think they purchased those ahead of time too, Christopher. I think Tim Cook, being a supply chain wizard that he is, I think he books that years in advance, anticipating things. I have even Final Cut Pro on my ultra portable Air 11, slow, but it works if you skip effects. Yeah, or just disable the effects. The silicon is an issue, but I think he purchased, I'm just saying, that one of the reasons that Steve Jobs, who I really, really miss, I really like Steve Jobs, he chose Tim Cook to succeed him was because he looks forward. So I think his silicon should be all the components, put it this way, more than other companies. They look forward and they purchase way, way in advance. The shortage is the material, the silicon, but I'm saying Tim Cook buys the silicon years in advance. So whatever he's going to be using this year is probably already purchased. This would affect other people, but I don't think it affects Apple nearly as much. They purchase years in advance. So they've already purchased They've already purchased Apple silicon for the next few years. All righty. What else do we have? I think that's just about it for today. Once again, I want to thank Future Media Concepts. They do a great job. And we do have Apple Worldwide Developers Conference is back in its all online format, which is interesting. Now, you don't think that those glasses have anything to do with the VR glasses, do you? I notice all the people have VR glasses. They have glasses. That's not VR, is it? That's not what they're saying with the glasses, is it? I don't think so. Have a nice day, everyone. That's absolutely true. Have a nice day, everyone. We'll just do a quick check. See if there's any birds. Yep, there goes a bird. Blue jay. We have bluebirds, yellowbirds, canaries, robins, all kinds of stuff in the backyard. All right, everyone. Stay tuned. Subscribe over there, Richard Taylor TV. YouTube.com, Richard Taylor TV is the best place to go. Subscribe. Hit the notification button. I have a special episode of Final Cut Pro TV Live coming up next week. Very special edition of that coming up next week. So I think I'm going to get out of here for the time being. Let me see here. I'm going to do one more giveaway. Going back through my list. Lots of love to the birds. So make sure if you've won one of the passes, contact me offline and I'll send you the link to get registered for free. But make sure you're going to be using it, right? Make sure you're going to be using it. So here we go. Let me just pull this up here. I'm going to give the last pass to, I think he's already signed off. But let's give the last pass to Scramble the Seawolves. He says he's been waiting for his pass since last night. So we'll give the last pass to him. I know him, so I'll send him the last pass for today. I sure appreciate everybody stopping by. If you have any questions, follow me on Twitter, Richard Taylor TV, YouTube, Richard Taylor TV, Facebook, Richard Taylor TV, although I don't accept friend requests. If I know you and you're not, have a bunch of nonsense on your timeline, we can be friends. We can be video friends regardless. That doesn't make any difference, but not if you have a bunch of nonsense on Facebook. All right, everyone. I am going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe over there, youtube.com, Richard Taylor TV. That's where you'll be notified when we go live. Let me see. We got one new comment down there. Thank you. Absolutely. Listen, first off, thanks to the Final Cut Pro team. You guys and gals do a great job. Second off, thanks to all the listeners, all the people that come over to these Final Cut Pro TV live events. I'm not going to stop. This is my 205th one I've done. I'll keep doing these, let you know what's going on with Final Cut Pro. Nobody does as many as me. I keep coming back, little news, big news, whatever. I'll keep reporting. Thanks for today. Thank you. Lots of love to the birds. Thanks, everyone. Richard Taylor signing off here. We will be back. And next week, stay tuned. Let me just pull that one off. Here we go.